InshaAllah. Fa'auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Atiullah atiya Rasul ulul amri minkum. And always a reminder for myself, and abdukul ajizu da'if, da'if wa miskeen wa zalim jahad. And but for the grace of Allah that we are still in existence. Alhamdulillah. Immensity of the love of Sayyidina Muhammad and that his love and Allah's love for the nation of Sayyidina Muhammad that left us not alone, left us under the guidance and nazar of awliya. Means that's an immense blessing to the nation of Sayyidina Muhammad that from that greatness and that great station that Prophet dressed his Ahlul Bayt, dressed the holy companions, and their dress upon awliyaullah fi samai wa fil ard. And that those awliyaullah they're in charge of many things, and most important is the guidance towards the Divinely Presence. That their qudrah and their power, their knowledges, their reality are a rahmah to bring people into guidance, not to allow shaitan to misguide and to ravage humanity. Immense blessings, known and unknown, from the known world, the physical, from the unseen world, their work in the levels of the soul. We pray that Allah dress us with its immensities on a night of the remembrance of the Urs Mubarak and the reality of Lebanon and Sultan al-Awliya Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani Qaddasallahu Siru from Gilan in Iran, not Pakistan. Because they say, oh he's from Pakistan. I say Pakistanis love him but he's actually from Gilan in Iran. And the immensity of that power oceans that we've talked many years that we are the Qadri representatives on this earth. Naqshbandiya holds that secret from Shaykh Abdul Qadir because they're teaching it. If somebody calls themselves something and they can't describe it, well there's something wrong. They know about it, but to be dressed by it and to be blessed by it means that ocean. And why the holy birth is on the 11th of this month. And this is the month because every teaching is a bead in a tasbih. You can't take the bead and walk around with one bead. So it means all their teachings you put into your heart, your heart is stringing them together so that one day it becomes all connected like how the shaykh talks. So how he got that and this and that and put it all together? Because it's already all on a rope within their heart from the knowledges, the ulum that Allah sends into their heart. So the 11 and the birth of on the 11th was a great saint of the divine mirror. They're going to bring onto this earth eternally because the physical form, and then once that physical form leaves there's an eternal station from that reality. It has an eternity, these are eternal souls of a spiritual dimension only for a short time on this earth. But its reality is an ancient reality. So coming on the 11th, Garmish Sharif that they celebrate on the 11th is because it's the divine mirror. So they have to be able to teach about 11. They have to understand that there's one Allah and there's one Sayyidina Muhammad. There's one Ahad and there's one Wahid. There's one Ahad, nothing unlike to Allah, and there's one Wahid whom nothing unlike to Sayyidina Muhammad. When these two is the whole reality of this haqqaiqs that these awliyaullah were bringing onto the earth. The power and the reason for the power is that when Allah want to dress the servant from the reality of La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulallah, what happens when the two come together? The qawsayni or adna. The two bow length is one la ilaha illallah, like a bow coming, and it comes so close, but the adab is not to connect. Not to say they're one, but that it comes so close. What happens when two powers come close? There's a nuqt, because electricity and energy doesn't stay. When it comes too close, the magnetic pull to it brings that nuqt, brings qudra into existence, brings a nuqt. Everything in creation is from that nuqt. Qarani, what were we reciting? That came from this nuqt. Universes came into existence by this nuqt. They don't have to touch these two power oceans. When Allah want to give this power to Sayyidina Muhammad reflecting upon that reality, they merely come to Qaaba, qawsayni aw adna, or near, its nearness we have no understanding. Aw adna. Can anything come in here? No. We described that in many talks. That's why Isra wa Miraj, Sayyidina Jibreel said, I can't go, I'm non-existent beyond that level. My existence is in you, is in the reality of Muhammadun Rasulallah. That's why nobody can leave the reality of Muhammadun Rasulallah to draw closer to Allah. Right? So he said, I can't go, I'm become non-existent. Not that I'm going to burn and I'm scared of burning, it's impossible. I don't have an existence outside of Muhammadun Rasulallah to enter between Qaaba, qawsayni or adna. So means that reality of the 11 is the highest levels of ulum and knowledges that awliyaullah want to seek. That is the knowledges of power, that is the knowledges of qudra, that is the oceans of power. When they ask, Ya Rabbi zidni ilma laduni wa hikmati bis salihin, all they ask from Allah is, Ya Rabbi grant me knowledges, knowledges from your oceans of power. And the more and more Allah dresses their soul from knowledges, the closer they're reaching to that Qaaba, qawsayni or adna. That is an ocean of immense lightning represented by the turuqs who do the Hadra. Right? Because the Hadra symbolizes that power. The Hadra symbolizes a station in which power is coming from the center to the whole circle of creation. The center is the nucleus of every existence, its qudra is shooting to the circumference. Because they witness and they are from that reality, they brought on to their students to, what's the word? Copy or imitate that reality upon earth. That when they begin their Hadra and they start making their Hadra, they have to be in the shape of a circle. And that they're asking for the madad and support from the center of that reality, from the oceans of power. That ocean of power in the center of that nucleus is La ilaha illallah's qudra upon the reality of Muhammadun Rasulallah. That power comes into existence. Means that reality of the 11 is the reality of Qaaba, qawsayni or adna. Every year we talk about that, to be asked and to be dressed by it. Ya Rabbi grant us to be from this 11, grant us to be from this Divinely mirror, to be dressed by its blessings, dressed by its realities. And awliyaullah then come and teach us that that mirror was the Zulfiqar, and the secret of that Zulfiqar was given, that Prophet brought that upon this earth. The Zulfiqar, it's owned by Sayyidina Muhammad. Means that when he holds La ilaha illallah from the hay of Allah to the mim of Muhammadan Rasulallah is who? La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallahu And then Muhammadun Rasulallah. So the one whom holds the sword, he is the who of Allah. He holds the reality of la ilaha illallah, and then the other part of the blade is Muhammadun Rasulallah. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Allah speaking and somebody listening, because it's a qul, it's isharat, means that level and reality of who is the secret and station of Sayyidina Muhammad. So then it's exemplified, its example on earth came as the Zulfiqar. Means that I am the one whom represents this reality of who, that I'm the mirror of Allah, that Allah reflects His La ilaha illallah perfectly to Muhammadun Rasulallah. And as a result of that Zulfiqar, that was given as an inheritance to Imam Ali. So means then that was a Sahabi giving, an Ahlul Bayt giving, that now you are the custodian of this secret and this reality of who I am. Bring them to this door and to this gate. And they're called from these categories of awliya, ulul bab, people of the bab, of the gate. The gate of this reality of La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulallah. So much so Allah gave example in Qur'an that Nabi Musa wanted the knowledges where the two rivers meet, where La ilaha illallah meets with Muhammadun Rasulullah. And where he met Sayyidina Qidr, who represents Bahrul Hayat, because this who is the secret of eternity. Whom holds it, who drinks from it, who uses it, they are Ahlul Hayat, they're not dunya people. Because they're in the oceans of Allah's Qudrah and the oceans of Allah's eternity. They are the real who men. Everyone else thinks they're human, but they are the real who men. That they represent the who of Allah's reflection to the who of Sayyidina Muhammad. And on earth they represent that ocean of hayat. They represent the oceans of wadud and love, means their khuluq and their character have to be of a very loving, kind nature. Because Allah dressed from the huruf their reality. As a result of that Zulfiqar, that is the oceans of reality. So when they approach these awliya who hold that sword, their responsibility is teach them, train them from those haqqaiqs. And what the Zulfiqar does is it takes your head off, not physically, spiritually. What stops insan from reaching that reality is their head. Their brain is tied with their nafs. Their nafs is shareek with shaitan. That brain, nafs and shaitan will never reach to a reality. So what the Zulfiqar, its responsibility is, don't come with your head into this reality. So all they're teaching, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. So that's why all the turuqs, their first step is La to your head, ilaha, and then to your heart, illallah. And so all they make that zikr and a reminder of that zikr, La ilaha illallah. Ya Rabbi, my head is not understanding what he's saying, and that's good. You're not supposed to understand with your head, you're merely supposed to believe. And it enter into the heart and enter its realities into the heart, and that's the oceans of Qadir. That's the oceans of reality, those teachings that teach the reality of La ilaha illallah that reflects to the ocean of Muhammadun Rasulallah is all of the teachings of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani Qaddasallahu Sirruh, to teach you to reach to the oceans of power. How could you reach the ocean of power if you think only ilaha illallah? If you don't know anything about Muhammadun Rasulallah, no way you're holding anything of any power. So then how can they reach to anything? If they don't hold a significance for its reality, they can't reach to that ocean of power. They can reach to whatever Allah wants to dress the servant from, but not from that ocean of reality. So then the responsibility of those whom hold the Zulfiqar and they represent the Zulfiqar is teach the haqqaiqs of la ilaha illallah, but can't be reached without the love and ishq of Muhammadun Rasulallah. And that they come to that love, they come with their character, they come with their ishq and their love, and they negate even their amal. They have to do the amal. They do the amal because Allah ordered it, but they don't think that with their head they're going to achieve any of these realities. They only know it's only achievable by muhabbat and ishq of Sayyidina Muhammad. So then they, if they really want to reach that, they compete in their ishq. Why? Because you want the nazar of Prophet. Do you think there's any way to la ilaha illallah, any way to Allah of this reality without going through that door? Impossible. Whatever they think they reach, it's all imaginary. But to reach the haqqaiq and the immense reality that Allah, I am a hidden treasure wanting to be known. Means like Sayyidina Jibreel, you can't reach outside of this. Allah want to create creation. Kun fayakun, this creation exists with a divine fire. All of this creation Allah called it what? Muhammadun Rasulallah. If you think Allah's in here, you're mushrik. If you think Allah's in here, it's mushrik because you put sharik with Allah. If you think Allah's in here, then there's something of a shirk because this is the ocean of creation. What Allah then is like? If you're in here and Allah's in here, you're breathing the same air? No, so awliyaullah clarify for you, no, la ilaha illallah is, I don't even want to represent it with anything, is way outside of creation. La ilaha illallah owns Muhammadun Rasulallah, owns that power, is the power of that reality. So we are here inside what they call in Surah An-Nur? Misbah. In the vitrine, in this lantern Allah placed all creation, created a light. That was the light of Muhammadun Rasulallah, put it within a lantern. This is from Tabari, Muhammad Jafar Tabari, on the whole creation of Nur Muhammadi, and then put that as a suspending light. Allah not for us to understand the where of Allah, the who of Allah. So means that you can never be here. That's not our faith. Everything has to be in Muhammadun Rasulullah. So no matter how great you are, can you come outside of this glass? No. So that's why in the Miraj Sayyidina Jibreel said, I can't go where you go because you are the outer boundary of all creation. That's why you are the shafa, the intercessor and the veil. Why? Because he is the pardeh between Muhammad Rasulullah and la ilaha illallah. It's the pardeh that intercedes, everyone else is in this side. That's why he says, this pardeh, Prophet described, I have two faces, I have multi-direction. One direction is always to Allah and one direction towards His creation, because Prophet is seeing Allah from all directions. And the other face is always facing everything in this creation, every universe in this creation, every universes that are going to come into this creation, universes that are known and unknown that will be manifesting. Kullu amrun wa irada. Surah Yasin is describing this power. Everything is in that. When it's going to come into existence, where does it come? In that. Where did it come from? Nurul Muhammadi. That's all there is. Our creation can't think outside of that because you fall out of Islam. So when people don't understand that, they say shirk, they say all these ridiculous kindergarten words because they don't understand. Allah didn't want them to understand. So ma'rifah is a knowledge of the Muhammadan haqqaiq, and to reach to that light, to reach to that understanding, to understand the haqqaiq of Sayyidina Muhammad and that all this ocean of la ilaha illallah is reflecting on to Muhammadun Rasulallah. So then these Ahlul Hu, they're here. They reached in their rank to the heart of Prophet to witness the reality of la ilaha illallah. They witness Allah to the degree Allah wants them to be witness. Each wali may have different understanding, vision of what that is. But from this pardeh, that's why we don't have Wahdatul Shuhood, Wahdatul Wujud. We don't have one with Allah, we have Wahdatul Shuhood. Why? Because the Prophet brings you to this glass, the outermost boundary, Sidratul Muntaha, and says, look from the boundary, look to Allah. From the heart of Prophet is the only one who can grant you that reality. So means the mirage of these ahbab is so deep into the heart of Prophet that from the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad they can be sent to this glass. They reach to the misbah and they see it as a glass, and from there they witness how Allah wants to be witnessed. As a result, this is their life's duty, to come back onto this earth and to perfect the ilm and the knowledge of khawas. They don't deal with masses, this is not a mass understanding. They don't deal with hundreds of thousands of people logging on and tuning in. Anyone trying to make them that, they don't even understand what they're doing. This is not about the masses, this is a school of khawas and elite. Because of that reality, it's not meant for the mass of people, it's meant for whom Allah wants them to understand. So they throw the net out, they may pick up many clams but one diamond, and those go back out. So the channels, the teachings, the pages, pick up many thousands, but all they need are one or two that lock on, that's the one whom Allah wanted. And again the net goes back out. It's not for the mass of people. These are the knowledges of the khawas, the elite within the heavenly kingdom, because of look what they're describing. They're describing the knowledges above the stations of Sayyidina Jibreel into the haqqaiq, into the realities of the Muhammadan existence and the Muhammadan kingdom, inshaAllah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon wa salaamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati Muhammad al Mustafa bi sirri Surat al Fatiha.